Are we living in the last days? It's a question that has captivated minds and sparked debates for centuries. Biblical prophecies such as those found in Matthew chapter 24 and 2 Timothy chapter 3 have been scrutinized for signs pointing to the end of times. From wars and famines to earthquakes and moral decay, these prophecies outline a series of events that would mark the culmination of human history. The last sign is here, and we need to know about these signs. But how do we interpret these signs? Are they unfolding before our eyes, or are they timeless reminders of the challenges humanity has always faced? One of the signs mentioned in Matthew chapter 24 verse 7 is the occurrence of wars and conflicts. Wars and conflicts have been an unfortunate reality throughout human history. From ancient battles to modern warfare, the world has experienced devastating conflicts that have brought immense suffering and loss. The occurrence of wars cannot be attributed solely to the last days, as it is a recurring feature of human behavior and geopolitical dynamics. While it is disheartening to witness ongoing conflicts, it is crucial to recognize that they are often rooted in complex socio-political factors, territorial disputes, ideological differences, and resource competition. Viewing wars as an exclusive indicator of the last days oversimplifies the complex nature of global conflicts. It is important to approach the interpretation of biblical prophecies and signs with a broader perspective, taking into account historical context and the multifaceted causes of wars. Matthew chapter 24 verse 7 highlights food shortages as a sign of the last days. Famine, with its devastating impact on populations, has been a recurring challenge throughout history. It has caused immense suffering and loss of life, leaving indelible scars on societies. While advancements in agriculture and food distribution have made significant strides in alleviating global food shortages, localized famines and hunger crises continue to afflict certain regions. Jesus mentioned the occurrence of earthquakes in various places as a sign of the last days, as documented in Matthew chapter 24 verse 7 and Luke chapter 21 verse 11. Earthquakes, natural events caused by tectonic activity, have been a part of the Earth's geological history since its formation. They can range in frequency and intensity, with some areas experiencing higher seismic activity than others. Jesus mentioned the presence of widespread disease and epidemics as a sign of the last days in Luke chapter 21 verse 11. Throughout history, humanity has faced various devastating pandemics that have caused significant suffering and loss of life. Examples include the Black Death in the 14th century and the Spanish flu in the early 20th century. In recent times, we have experienced the global impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. Jesus mentioned the increase in lawlessness as a sign of the last days in Matthew chapter 24 verse 12. While crime rates may fluctuate over time, it is challenging to attribute a perceived increase solely to the last days. Crime patterns are influenced by a complex interplay of social, economic, and political factors within societies. Revelation chapter 11 verse 18 mentions mankind ruining the earth, which resonates with growing concerns about the impact of human activities on the environment. Issues such as deforestation, pollution, and climate change have raised alarm bells about the well-being of our planet. While it is crucial to address these environmental challenges for the sake of future generations, interpreting them as a definitive sign of the last days requires caution. The concept of ruining the earth can be subjective and open to interpretation. The extent and consequences of environmental degradation are complex and multifaceted, encompassing scientific, social, and ethical dimensions. Scientific research and understanding of environmental issues continue to evolve, shedding light on the intricate relationships between human activities and the environment. 2 Timothy chapter 3 verses 1 through 4 highlights a decline in moral values and a breakdown of family relationships as a sign of the last days. While it is true that societal values and family dynamics undergo changes over time, attributing these changes exclusively to the last days can be challenging. Societal transformations are complex and multifaceted, influenced by cultural shifts, evolving social norms, and a multitude of external factors. Morality and family structures evolve in response to various historical, social, and economic forces. The understanding of what constitutes moral behavior and the dynamics within families can vary across cultures and time periods. Changes in values in family relationships can be influenced by factors such as urbanization, globalization, technological advancements, and shifts in gender roles. Jesus mentioned in chapter 24, verse 12, that the love of many would grow cold as a sign of the last days, and 2 Timothy chapter 3, verse 5 emphasizes religious hypocrisy. These passages underscore the significance of severe devotion to God and the dangers of outward religiosity without genuine commitment and righteousness. However, assessing the state of collective religious devotion is a complex task due to the wide variation in religious beliefs and practices across cultures and individuals. Religion is deeply personal, and its expression differs from person to person and society to society. It is essential to recognize that religious devotion encompasses a broad spectrum, ranging from deeply committed individuals to those who may display religious affiliation without genuine inner devotion. The presence of hypocrisy within religious communities is not exclusive to any specific area, but has been observed throughout history. Jesus prophesied in Matthew chapter 24 verses 37 to 39 that people would ignore the signs of the approaching end and ridicule them. Likewise, 2 Peter chapter 3 verses 3 and 4 mentions scoffers dismissing the evidence. These passages highlight the inherent aspects of human nature, such as skepticism and denial, which have been present throughout history. Throughout the ages, there have always been individuals who question and doubt prophecies, signs, and spiritual teachings. Skepticism is a natural part of human thought and can arise from various factors, including personal beliefs, cultural influences, and differing interpretations of events. Skeptics may challenge the validity of prophecies or dismiss them as mere coincidences or exaggerations. While the presence of apathy and ridicule towards prophecies can be observed, it is challenging to attribute these attitudes exclusively to the last days. Such attitudes have been encountered throughout history, reflecting the diverse range of perspectives and beliefs held by individuals. Matthew chapter 24 verse 33 states that all prophecies would be fulfilled simultaneously, signaling the arrival of the last days. War and famine are significant aspects mentioned in the Bible as signs of the last days. These prophecies highlight the devastating consequences that humanity may face during tumultuous times. The Bible describes how nations will rise against one another, leading to widespread conflict and loss of peace. Matthew chapter 24 verse 7. Throughout history, mankind has experienced the horrors of war, witnessing the immense suffering and destruction it brings. From ancient battles to modern-day conflicts, warfare has been a recurring feature of human existence. However, the Bible's prophecies suggest that in the last days there will be an escalation of wars, potentially on a global scale, leading to unprecedented levels of violence and turmoil. The prophecies of famine emphasize the scarcity of food and the resulting suffering it brings to humanity. Jesus foretold that there would be food shortages, Matthew chapter 24 verse 7, indicating a time of widespread hunger and deprivation. The book of Revelation also mentions a symbolic horseman representing famine, further emphasizing the severity of the food crisis during the last days, Revelation chapter 6 verses 5 and 6. While it is conceivable for multiple prophecies to coincide and align with historical events, determining the exact fulfillment of all prophecies is a highly subjective endeavor that relies on individual interpretation. Interpreting and discerning the fulfillment of prophecies require careful analysis and an understanding of historical context. Prophecies often use symbolic language and imagery, making their interpretation complex and multifaceted. Different individuals or religious traditions may interpret prophecies in various ways, leading to diverse understandings of their fulfillment. The nature of prophecy itself allows for a range of interpretations. Prophecies can be fulfilled in different ways, at different times, and in various contexts. Some prophecies may have multiple layers of meaning, spanning different time periods and events. The prophecies outlined in the Bible provide a thought-provoking glimpse into the signs believed to identify the last days. As we examine these prophecies, we encounter a mosaic of events and conditions that, when considered collectively, present a compelling narrative. From wars and famines to earthquakes and diseases, the scriptures paint a picture of a world in turmoil and undergoing significant challenges. These prophecies address both external and internal aspects of human existence. They touch upon global issues such as warfare, famine, and environmental degradation, as well as the deterioration of moral values, the breakdown of family relationships, and the decline of genuine devotion to God. They depict a complex tapestry of societal, cultural, and spiritual changes that signify a time of great significance. While interpretations may vary and discerning the precise timing and fulfillment of these prophecies is challenging, they serve as reminders of the need for reflection and introspection. They urge us to consider the state of our world in our individual lives, encouraging us to strive for peace, compassion, and righteousness in the face of adversity. Whether one views these prophecies as metaphorical or literal, they hold a timeless message of hope and caution. They call us to be vigilant, to cultivate empathy and love, and to seek understanding and wisdom. They invite us to engage in a global preaching work, sharing a message of truth and salvation to all corners of the inhabited earth. If you enjoyed this discussion on the signs of the last days and found it thought-provoking, consider subscribing to our YouTube channel for more insightful content.